and welcome to the Protocol 4 podcast, guys. Your main man, your main star, Grant Starson, is in the
Back in the
reins
saddle.
again, baby.
Hey, we
And
both made horse analogies.
yeah, so there you go. And we're kindred spirits. We're both leaders, but there can only
This
be
is
one
what I
leader.
come back to after my week vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horse puns. This is how you treat me. I
We
see how it
missed you.
is.
We missed you. We needed you to rein us in.
You wanted me to talk about Pokemon Go. This is how you treat me.
we
Like
needed
a
you
rapid
to.
dash.
We needed
See,
you to
I
keep
like
this.
horse puns too. Jerks.
We needed you to keep this
Mm.
podcast galloping ahead. All right, but yeah,
Wow.
enough of that.
Fair
Enough of that. I've made a public service announcement for this topic before, but a deadline's coming up, so I kind of wanted to make this again. You guys know what I've said about net neutrality in the past, that we need it in order to ensure that there's a fair and open internet, and that the big ISPs, internet service providers, are not picking and choosing winners based on who can pay them ransoms for higher internet speeds. So the deadline to file comments with the FCC is July 17th. July 12th will be National Day of Action. So a lot of big companies have joined that. Google and Facebook just announced that they're joining it, though they haven't said what they're going to do. Netflix has joined it. Amazon's joined it. Twitter, Reddit, and I believe there's another one. I know Vimeo has, but that's not like huge. But like, yeah, the point being is
It just kind of exists at this point.
yeah, but Google and Facebook alone are gonna really reach a lot of people depending upon how they choose to participate in this. But the point is that July 17th is the deadline for the first round of comments you can make on the FCC's website. They're based on the net neutrality regulations, and a lot of people might not be doing it because they feel like it doesn't matter, but public outcry always matters, because if enough backlash happens, public backlash is what caused us to have net neutrality regulations put in place in 2015, because Google, I forget if Facebook did, but Google came in and they had a similar situation where they got really big Silicon Valley companies that came in and made the public aware of what happens without net neutrality, and people went into an uproar, and that was what caused us to get net neutrality regulations in the first place. So while the FCC currently is certainly a lot more predisposed to ignore us, enough of an outcry will make them pay attention. And if nothing else, a public outcry is going to make, if they do pass, or if they do deregulate the internet, it's going to make it so that it'll be more likely that we can legally challenge and we can make a legal challenge against it, in which case we can get actual legislation maybe that protects net neutrality, which would make it so that that something like this couldn't happen again, that we couldn't just appoint one asshat to a commission who then completely undoes one of the fundamental aspects of modern life. So you can go on the FCC's website and issue a comment. I definitely highly recommend doing it. And so now that that's out of the way,
Fight the power.
yeah, fight the power indeed, especially when that power is an orange orangutan and his,
You know, like businesses taking over your livelihood and just making life worse for you. No, you shouldn't want that. So,
yeah.
Vote.
I mean, and let's look at it this way. No one likes Comcast now. You're sure as hell not going to like them after if net neutrality goes away, because they're going to be able to legally fuck you over even more than they currently do. So, yeah. But going from the serious stuff to what you guys came here for. Geek news!
Yeah, give me some of that geek news.
Yeah. So, this week, and where the hell was it? Where did it take place?
L.A.
L.A. In L.A., there was a great big event for the geekiest of the geeks, for the king of the nerds.
God.
Anime Expo. Anime Expo
Are we gonna talk about
2017.
TBS at this point? What's going on here?
We're talking about Anime Expo 2017.
Yeah, none of us were there.
Yeah, none of us were there.
Man.
You know, once I actually get, you know, into a better financial position, I could actually potentially go to these events because I am on the
There's
Pacific
a person
Northwest.
there who apparently talks like me.
There you go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. During one of the panels, this guy asked a question that reminded me of William in a good way, though.
But
yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, so you know, eventually I'm on the Pacific Northwest, so eventually I might be able to, you know, go to these things, but not yet. But we did watch. It was most of it was streamed, and we watched a lot of it. I specifically mainly watched the JoJo panel, but we'll talk about that in a bit because the most important thing that come out of Anime Expo, which is what Johnny, who's the big man on this topic, is going to tell you about right now.
Something we all really love, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all, you know, pretty big men on this.
Yeah, but you're like the most.
I mean,
You're the guy who strapped me down to a chair and forced me to go frame by frame through the original show to explain why it was the greatest show on the
I've
planet.
seen the show a friend before, and Johnny complained to me about that. That I should have done that, but hey, that's what I do.
What show is this that we mentioned last week as well? Would have news this week.
Look, the point is that you know, after like over a year of like build up, I guess they finally showed a trailer for the new Fooly Cooly season. I guess like 2 and 3. I assume most of the footage shown was from 2. But yeah, there was a 40-second trailer featuring a new song from the Pillows, and featuring almost entirely new characters. It looks like we're gonna have like a brand new plot this time around.
Yep.
Well, it's taking place in the same location. It looks like at least.
Yeah, it looks like it's the same location, but they say it's many years later. So I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if they're gonna try to revisit old characters or what. Seems Haruko is still in the show, but according to Logan, who watched more of the panel than I did, they're apparently being very coy about revealing whether or not she's actually in the show.
Yeah, which is weird, but someone like directly asked if Haruko was going to be in the show, and they're like, "Do we say that was Haruko?" So I don't know. They're just being weird about it right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have seen Haruko. I mean, I could get into more detail about that because it seems like they're trying to bring in like sort of extended universe plot elements into Fooly Cooly, which like nobody knows anything about. But
yeah. No, I would just say what were your impressions good or bad? I guess I just what I want to ask first.
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's sort of very hard to say right now, which is kind of frustrating because I assumed I would have like a more informed opinion after watching the first trailer. But like the thing is like this trailer kind of shows what I was afraid of in the first place, in that it kind of seems like they're just trying to do what the original series did, and that's like, okay, here's a new Pillow song, here's here's like a bunch of scenes, but like literally almost every single one of those scenes is like a shot-for-shot remake of a scene from the original series. So, except like the animation looks worse, which is also frustrating because their anime was made like 18 years ago.
It does seem like the aesthetic is slightly different, slightly more. I don't really know what to say. Like directly sci-fi, I guess I would say. Everything looks a little more kind of, futuristic and not really as fun, I guess. There was more creatures in the trailer that actually kind of look like aliens rather than like weird robots. That's just what I noticed.
I also wasn't a fan of the design of what it looks like as the new main character. She looks very stereotypically anime.
I suppose like I can agree with like what you both said. But like I don't mind it that much because the characters in the original Fooly Cooly aren't particularly like exciting looking. They don't.
But they look distinct.
Well, yeah, they look more distinct. Like they tend to have more detail, and they tend to have characteristics that set them apart. So I can agree with them looking more generic, but at the same time, like I don't know, I don't know if we can judge it that much right now. And then also it might be just like kind of like early footage, like maybe it doesn't look as good as it's going to. I don't know. And like the thing that kind of gives me hope is that I assume most of the footage that was shown is probably from the first episode, meaning that even if there's like a lot of elements that are similar to the original series, they might be doing sort of like a like, oh, let's make the first episode be sort of like a like almost like a recap of the original series, but like not like a recap, but like a invention of the original series. Like just go like beat by beat of what happened in the original show, but like really fast in the first episode to just kind of like give people that mood, and then continue on to its own plot later. I think that
But
could
the
be fun.
important
Like,
thing is cat headphones.
well, yeah, the cat headphones are pretty much the only thing that make the main character look fairly distinct. Otherwise, she looks pretty generic.
That's like the thing that makes me most concerned about her is that she has those. I'm like, oh no, this is very anime. I mean, I guess
Listen,
like FLCL
If I
was,
could have cat headphones, I'd wear them.
but like I
Yeah,
guess
I mean,
FLCL was always very anime, but it's like very like it's like moe or something, like kind of that.
I guess. I mean, it does have some OA elements, but I'm not like necessarily against that. I don't know. Like I feel like this aesthetic is sort of like closer to Die Buster than it is to Fooly Cooly, which is a little, I feel like the aesthetic in Die Buster is like a little worse. But oh yeah, and
Die
also,
Buster being sort of a show that is comparable to the original FLCL, and also a show that was a sequel to a 6-episode miniseries that was made a long time after the original. So there's a lot of reasons to compare those two.
yeah, and it
I've
was made
seen
by the guy
Gunbuster, but not Die Buster. For me.
Yeah, it was made by the guy who made Fooly Cooly, so like it definitely has a lot of like similarities there. I feel like we can look to Die Buster as sort of like here are some elements he might incorporate into the new show.
And well, he's not directly making this one, right? He's just like kind of a
Well,
head
he's like a
producer.
supervisor. Like I assume they probably have to like go through him to put stuff in the show.
Mhm.
So I don't know, but yeah, like the it's kind of weird because like there's like a sort of like a secondary main character, like there's like a guy who looks very similar to Naruto, but then like more generic, and he has like a bandage on his head. So it almost seems like he's gonna be the one with the robots coming out of his head, and not the main character, which is a little strange.
I mean, that might be a little interesting, maybe, like seeing it from the perspective of somebody who is experiencing it rather than the cause of it, or, that it's directly a part of their lives. Somebody who's just on the sidelines of that kind of event. Could be interesting.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
main
the thing,
character's
like-
not Mimi then.
Well, no, the new main character is sort of, I don't know. It looks
We don't really know what role she plays necessarily.
I was making a really bad joke, and you guys just tore it apart.
Oh, I mean, I thought you were actually speculating that the main character their role would be more similar to Mimi's role from the.
It was a simple joke that wasn't supposed to be taken that seriously.
Okay, well, we're
Wow.
in serious. I guess we must be in serious mode.
I'm sorry that I'm apparently the only person who could joke around about this show. I'm just gonna
That's-
slide out the podcast, I guess.
No, you're good. You're
got
good. I will say generally, I did have a good impression of the trailer. Just in case what we've said so far has maybe sounded a little negative. I see nothing too wrong with it yet. I see that the aesthetic is maybe a little more boring, but that also means it's different. So maybe they're trying to do something different. They said at the panel that the themes of the show are going to be different, but related to the original. The characters look like they're a little older than the characters that are in the original. And the pillow song sounded really good. So overall, I did have a pretty good impression of the trailer.
Yeah, I mean that's like a lot of what I like. Like that's the thing. Like just looking at the trailer itself, I sort of came off with some bad impressions. Not all bad, but like the alien scenes are something that I do like because that was something that wasn't ever in the original series. And something I've always liked about Gynax series is how they're always like sort of related to space, but then for some reason they usually never go to space or do anything space related. So the fact that this one does seem to have like more space elements is very cool. But like other than those scenes, I feel like the trailer was like fairly repetitive and like it just kind of felt like a step down from the original series. Like it felt like it was too similar and not as good. But what they did say in the panel about the show, that actually did sound good. It does seem like they're trying to make these separate stories, which is what they should be, because the original Fooly Cooly series told like a very complete story. So while I do want them to reference, like I want every subsequent season to reference each prior season, obviously, maybe some characters showing up or like having similar, like plot elements or ideas. I want them to be like very independent stories. You know, I mean, like if we're gonna do a continuation here, I'd love to see like an older Naruto or an older Mamimi or something. But
Naoto's gonna be a marine biologist.
well, no. But if but I don't think it like the story should focus on them. You know, I don't think it should. It should be like, okay, now it turns out the characters still have more growing up to do or whatever. Like, no, like, we're good.
Yeah,
Unless it's like a very distinct, like separate type of growing up. You know, like if they do like a more like adult version of Naruto or something, that would be interesting. But not like, oh, here, you know, just go through the same motions again.
Yeah, well, it looks like that. I think they said both seasons are going to come out next year, but they're actually going to be somewhat removed from each other. They could be a few months apart, so that will be interesting to see. And I don't know how much else they revealed. In Japan, it's going to be 2 movies. Each season is going to be a movie, so that should be
also very
interesting.
surprising that like in Japan they're not only putting it out as movies but also selling a bunch of merchandise for it, because I don't think because like no one really cared about the series when it came out in Japan. It wasn't very popular, and it only gained popularity over here. So I'm surprised that like anyone like I'm surprised if anyone cares about it right now in Japan. It's kind of weird.
Well,
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to finally, you know, have something to think about in terms of this.
Yeah, I just wish kind of like the trailer had like a bit more personality. You know, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what they're going with the trailer. I just kind of have to take their word for it. You know, be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do new stuff, but like, are you? I want you to show me that new stuff. Oh, and I guess probably one last thing to mention would be the fact that we have like this new like Haruko-esque character. So that might be why they said that we're not sure if Haruko's actually in the show or whatever. Because there's like this new girl and she's like riding around in a car, and she has like a guitar, and she does a lot of like Haruko-esque expressions.
She has white hair, right?
Yeah. She has like dark skin with white hair, and she has like a some kind of mark on her face or whatever.
I think it's like a scar, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, like she might be like the new Haruko or whatever of the season, which would probably be kind of strange, especially since Haruko is apparently like in the plot description they said she would play a big role in the show, so it'd be kind of weird if she doesn't. But like I said, in terms of like fully expanded universe stuff in the fully manga, there are actually 2 Harukos, so they might be doing that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh yeah, that's that manga that I got through like 2 panels of, and I gave up because they didn't put fucking who's speaking the lines.
Yeah, the manga is both hard to get through and not very good, but like I would imagine that they would probably incorporate elements of that. Like they are bringing in sort of like the Federation or whatever, and like Medical Mechanica, and like all of these like big organizations that weren't like a big part of the original series, but were sort of mentioned.
Yeah, they have specifically mentioned that Adamus, who was like a space pirate, sort of, I don't know what he was. He was like some sort of very powerful character who was sort of glimpsed in the original show, will be playing a role in this series as well.
Okay, I mean that sounds kind of strange.
Yeah,
but, I feel like his entire point was that you weren't supposed to know anything about him. Like he was just there. He was a MacGuffin, basically.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
That's the thing that what I don't like about this is the whole like, oh, let's explore this universe type of thing. And like I don't think it needs exploring. The universe is fine. We got it. But whatever. I mean, like at least hopefully they do a good job.
We need to know where they manufacture those giant irons.
Well, we might find out. You know that could be an actual.
They'll go there and it'll be a giant iron factory, and they'll be like, oh, and then the episode ends.
That's how they do it. Another thing I guess that could be maybe interesting is the potential for a crossover with Die Buster, which sounds like probably a big stretch, but they have mentioned like some of the same like organizations in both series.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they?
Now that we're just suddenly expanding the fully cool universe, it might even just be like, okay, now we're Gunbuster and Die Buster.
Yeah, that would be really weird.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, wait, doesn't Gunbuster start in like 2009 or something?
Probably.
Yeah, that would be strange.
They're gonna be
in like 10,000 whatever. So
they're gonna be doing whatever in FLCL 2, and then suddenly Kamina just comes bursting through the wall. And he's like, yo.
Just combine everything for no reason.
He's like,
mean,
I
well,
thought I
honestly,
was dead, but I'm not. I was just transported to FLCL land.
I mean, honestly, Gurren Lagann wouldn't make much sense, but Gunbuster and Diebuster isn't too much of a stretch.
A panty and stocking crossover. It could happen.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be great. Well, I mean, great like in quotes. Because I want more panty and stocking stuff, but I don't really think that they should cross over with Holy Ghost.
It could be like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, except everything's animated, but then like one thing is blatantly like more poorly animated than the other. So it's like it's still like a real thing and then an animated thing. It's weird.
Right.
It could be very
We're taking this
experimental.
too far.
All right. But yeah,
I think of too many layers here.
layers like an onion.
Okay. Are we gonna start doing Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life?
Yeah, sure. You know, Shrek is life. I mean, come on, man. But yeah, in any case.
This is what happens when you think with too many layers. You just go into Shrek mode.
But
Be
speaking
careful.
speaking of Shrek, Kino's Journey.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we're pretty similar.
Yeah. But yeah, that's actually a series I've never seen. I saw like the first episode of it because you forced me to watch it, and I never watched past that.
Yeah. Well, whatever, it's good. But the point is that I mean, I'll talk about this too since I'm the only one who's seen Kino's Journey. But yeah, I mean, it's a good show. It's one of my favorite shows. It's sort of it's like sort of an interesting show because I feel like it's very similar to Mushishi in terms of like the style and in terms of what the show is trying to do. But for whatever reason, it's got like it just didn't have the enduring popularity of Mushishi. Everyone who's seen both generally agrees that Mushishi is better, and that's the show that kind of kept going while Kino's Journey just kind of fell by the wayside. Whereas I've always been the opposite. I've always thought Kino's Journey was great, and I'm not really a big fan of Mushishi. But
Kino's Journey wasn't popular because of Mushishi's. That's the mystery. That's the last episode of Mushishi.
And then you gotta like do a little dance and shake your hands around, and then the Mushishi goes away.
Yeah.
And that's like deep or compelling or something.
And then that's why we got a new Kino's Journey because they did that.
Well, yeah. Well, the point is like now for some reason they decided that they're gonna make a new Kino's Journey anime. So that's something that I'm pretty excited about as well. It's actually kind of interesting that like two of my favorite anime are getting suddenly revived after like 20 years or something. So that's like something to look forward to. I don't think we know anything about it. I don't think there's like a trailer or any information. But Kino's Journey is based on a series of light novels, so I assume it'll just probably continue to adapt those.
Like, have they confirmed if it's continuing directly from the anime, or is it recovering what the anime did?
I'm not sure. I don't think they mentioned that, but I doubt it'll be just like a retelling because the Kino's Journey isn't like it's not really like an ongoing series really. It's like episodic. Mm-hmm. So it's just a bunch of like different chapters, and I think for the original series they pulled different chapters from like multiple different light novels. So they can just do that. Like, here's more stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, that'd be fine. Hopefully that comes out and it's good because I think Journey is a very very cool show. Very smart and interesting.
I should probably watch it. It's weird how I never watched it. It's like that was like that era of my life where it's like you had all these anime you really really loved, and I really only saw like FLCL from that in full because I remember you tried to get me to watch Abenobashi, and like I think everyone's forgotten about that.
Well, yeah,
I still remember Abenobashi.
That's like the forgotten Gainax anime.
Why do I still remember it?
Because we have good taste.
oh, it comes out in full.
But let us just say that if you are a listener of this podcast and you do not remember Abenobashi, that does not mean that you do not have good taste. You might.
The views of individuals on this podcast do not represent the organization's views, and they are the views of those individuals. There you go.
Correct. Well, yeah. The point is that there was like a lot of cool anime around that time, and like it's cool because a lot of I'm not super interested in a lot of recent anime. Like I haven't like watched a lot of anime in a while, and like there's nothing really compelling me to do so now. Like in the past few seasons, there haven't been any new things that I'm super interested in watching. So having stuff like Fully Cooley and Kino's Journey back is really cool and surprising. I'm kind of hoping that either we get more old revivals like that, or we get just like new stuff more in that style. I mean, something like Haruhi, right? Like Haruhi was super popular, but that never ended, right? Like, why not do more of that? Why not finish these old shows? We got an opportunity to continue.
That girl pulled a robot out of her forehead and I clapped.
What?
Is that a reference to something?
Yeah, it's Red Letter Media with their
Okay.
Rogue One thing.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
We already established that it's most likely going to be the guy pulling things out of his forehead, not the girl.
Anyway, speaking of Gainax, kind of also existing in that space, Studio Trigger had a panel at Anime Expo, and they actually announced 3 new anime. Just kind of insane to do at an American convention. They started off their panel with a short Inferno Cop short film where Inferno Cop met Donald Trump. That's on YouTube, so if you want to watch that, it's pretty interesting. They sang about America. And they announced 3 new shows. One of them is a science fiction anime, which is called Darling in the Franxx. Frank and then 2 X's. That's how you spell that. I don't know if there's a plot for that, because it's just an anime. No, there's no plot. There's like a poster. So it's science fiction. Second show is actually an anime based on a tokusatsu show called Gridman. And this show is called Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman, except Cyber Squad, they start with S's instead of C's. It's directed by the guy who did Inferno Cop and Ninja Slayer, which was a Trigger anime that I don't know if it was very popular. It's going to be sort of they're taking this character from tokusatsu and putting him in an anime with a new story. But I think the big announcement from Trigger at that con was this show called Promare. I would think it would probably be pronounced Promare.
I want it to be Pro-Mare, because it'll be about a professional mare.
And I think the big news with that is that it is I believe the 3rd collaboration between director Hiroyuki Imaishi and scriptwriter Kazuki Nakashima, who worked on Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill. So obviously this is going to be a very heavily hyped show. There is a poster for it that sort of makes it look like the show will have a pretty different style than those other 2 shows. The sort of designs are fairly simple in this poster, but it could just be stylistic for the poster. Maybe that's not what the actual show will end up looking like. Once again, I don't know if anything's known about the plot. It looks like there's a giant robot on the poster, so probably some giant robots in there. It's a burning city. But I think this is going to be a very heavily hyped up series. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about that as it comes up. I'll check it out because I liked Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill as a ton of people did. So that's what Trigger's doing right now, and it's good. And it's good that even Max is kind of fallen out of favor. Trigger is still pumping out shows, more than ever right now.
Yeah, because Trigger looks like they're finally like kind of getting into the swing of things, and like they probably have a lot more money now and more staff, and they're able to kind of pull out more projects as they want to, rather than being limited like they've been.
Did anyone watch Kisniver? Because it seemed cool.
I watched a couple episodes of Kisniver. I mean, I read, I heard opinions that it wasn't really that great, and when I watched it, they seemed mostly true. So I never really continued past it. I know a lot of people like it. The animation is really good, and it's the actual show is visually very, very fun to watch. But the writing and the actual plot to me wasn't really that great.
All right. Well, I think we have one more thing to talk about with Anime Expo. Grant, do you
This
wanna...
is my fucking topic, okay? I'm fucking sick. All right, no, I'm not it was very weird. It was very cringe-inducing, not exactly anger-inducing. The JoJo panel. I don't really know why they had it, because they didn't really announce anything. They're like, hey, there's gonna be a dub of part 3. No fucking shit.
Yeah, because people love JoJo.
I know people love JoJo, but then make some sort of actual announcement,
Yeah,
like
it was
about
really weird
anything.
because at the end of the panel they had like a slide that said major announcement, and it was just like the trailer for part 3 on Toonami that they put up like 2 days before that
Yeah,
on the internet.
that's not even an announcement. That's a repetition. It's like, and also it was just really cringe-inducing because like, and this honestly it doesn't even just go for like necessarily like anime panels and stuff. This is just in general. One thing that really bugged the crap out of me. So when they were telling like all the panelists to be like, "Who's your favorite JoJo character?" Like they all had to name heroes. And like the second somebody said Dio, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I have to go with Dio." It's like, Dio's not a real person, right? Like it's okay to like the villain of a work.
That's interesting. I didn't really think about that.
Like, but a lot of panels do it, and it's super fucking annoying because it's like, just because you like the villain doesn't mean it's like, oh my god, he likes JoJo, he's Hitler. Like he's
Like Dio.
yeah, like freaking, and it was just like dumb because it's like they give these stupid generic answers, and that becomes cringe-inducing because it's like I love. It was also really sad when they started the panel, and they're like, "Is your favorite Joe star Jonathan?" And like no one said anything, and then like every other Joe star got a round of applause. So it was really sad for Jonathan.
Called out.
Well, it's because they only did the anime JoJo so far, because they obviously assume that no anime fan has read the manga, I guess.
Which ended up not being true because they had a posing contest, and there were several cosplayers from later parts in the posing contest.
Yeah, and as cringe-inducing as the posing contest was, there were good cosplayers there.
Yeah,
I had to give them credit. I always like what?
The JoJo community has always been pretty good on reading manga because like they kind of had to until 2012. So
Yeah, when they
I feel
actually
like
started.
the majority of the community is pretty familiar with manga only JoJo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but in terms of like the posing contest, there were some of them that did a decent job posing. I thought the Dio did a pretty good job with the Re.
Yeah, some people fell.
Yeah, a lot of people fell.
Not that many.
But they had a really good Dio cosplayer that for some reason had a shining outfit. That was really my only gripe because I'm like, Dio didn't wear like shiny clothing. Like he just wore like an orangish jacket. So that looked kind of weird, but it still looked accurate. Other than that, it was a really good Star Platinum that I think won, right?
One of the
Yeah, that
winners.
was a really good cosplay. So they had good cosplayers there, and like, I have to congratulate them on their fandom in that. But it was also very much so an anime panel. So of course, we had a guy who was dressed as a superhero and like American, and with American flags and stuff.
Yeah, I
And,
think
like,
that was the manga translator. I think.
I think it was the editor, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, it was really funny when they had the message from Araki, and like,
Yeah, which is kind of crazy that they had one at all.
but
Impressive.
like, it just started, and like, it just looked like he was gonna be like, "Hi, I'm Araki, and I made JoJo," and then he just like ends it.
Well, because that's what happened. They had to
Yeah.
replay it.
Yeah.
Which
and it was-
which actually reminds me real quick. At the FLCL panel when they showed the trailer, it started at the end of the trailer, and they had to rewind it through the entire trailer. So like they were like, "Close your eyes, everybody, close your eyes," and then they rewound it, and like you could see the trailer going by really fast if you were looking. I was trying to look away, and then they started it over. So like it was really funny because they played the trailer, and the first thing you saw was FLCL 3, and it was like, wait, what? But then they rewound it.
Yeah, that was a little weird because I was watching the panel on mute actually. So I was wondering why they kept just showing the trailer like a million times.
Yeah. They did that just because people wanted them to.
Oh,
Okay. That's
Yeah. They were like, "Do you want to see it one more time?" The audience is like, "Yeah."
One more time, yeah. It's like 25 times later.
Yeah, they would have.
But in terms of JoJo, I didn't expect them to have some sort of like, part 5 anime announcement, because like that's not gonna get announced in America before it's announced here, or before it's announced there. So I wasn't expecting it, but just like something like, I don't know, maybe say, hey, the JoJo movie's gonna get a dub, something like that.
Yeah,
you know,
like
that would have been announced.
that would have been such a great time to announce a release of that movie, because like I'm sure it's going to get one. It's probably going to be a big movie in Japan. All the JoJo fans are actually looking forward to it, which is like something that's rare even for Japanese anime movies. You don't get as much hype as I've seen among fans as you have gotten for this one so far. So that would have been a great time to announce that.
This translation of part 4.
What happened?
I would have liked the translation of part 4 by
Yeah,
Viz.
that would have been nice too. I guess the rationale for, I guess, not announcing a manga translation, not announcing a part 4 dub is that they haven't finished doing part 3 in either of those mediums yet. So I guess I understand that, even though
I also heard that they might not have the rights to announce it.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure how the ownership of it works, but I heard that Viz might not have the full rights to make an announcement of that caliber unless I think it was Warner Brothers allows them to, because I think they're owned by Warner Brothers. I'm not sure, but I heard it. It was speculation, so it could not be true. Or it might not be true.
I mean, the reason why I say part 4 is because anime takes a long time to make, so anything related to part 5 is kind of in the future right now. Like, I wouldn't like that to like talk about that yet, because it takes a while.
Yeah.
Their production needs a break.
Yeah. Well, they don't get a break. We need part 5 anime now.
Yeah, a lot of the people in the audience were not happy.
We already got a new translation of part 5. Okay, we got that at least. We got that.
Yeah, we got an unofficial online translation.
Yeah, I'm not reading through the
Did I
entire
say fan translation?
What?
I said fan translation.
Oh, I didn't think you did, but it doesn't really matter.
But yeah, now that it's fully translated, they can start working on the part 5 anime.
It doesn't matter, because then you wouldn't have to correct me. Because
All right,
I would already been correct.
We'll have to play through the tape, and whoever is wrong will get a
Check
pay.
the tapes, and then I will dunk you into the pool.
Logan,
Yeah, at our company picnic, we'll do that.
Logan better hope there aren't any tapes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So no real actual announcement at the JoJo panel, which made me question why it existed. But hey, I guess JoJo got a panel, so I can't complain too much. I'm happy. JoJo is
mainstream.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, because it means that it's it's making an impact. So, moving away from anime to something equally as Japanese, but not as equally animated.
Well, actually, you may be surprised to learn that this is animated.
I'm surprised by how animated this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you wouldn't think it, but there is a new Godzilla movie coming out. It's going to be Netflix exclusive in the U.S. and it's an animated movie. It kind of unfortunately is 3D animation.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but then fortunately, it is a trilogy, and it is written by Gen Urobuchi, who is a well-known anime writer. He wrote Madoka. He wrote, I think, the Fate Stay Night animes.
No, he did not. He wrote the Fate Zero novel.
Okay, he wrote, right.
He directed Comrade Gaim.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote Comrade Gaim, but he wrote the Fate Zero novel, which is why the Fate Zero anime is good. He didn't write the anime, but they're like, okay, we'll adapt it because the novels are good. He did not write the original series, so nobody think that. Okay.
I'm thinking it. I'm thinking it right now. You can't.
Sorry,
say
man.
A very big difference in quality between Fate Zero and any other Fate work.
So he's definitely a very well-respected modern voice in the anime world, and he is writing these 3 Godzilla movies that are going to be on Netflix. It's called Godzilla Monster Planet, at least the first one is. And there was a 30-second trailer that was released. My relationship to Godzilla is I've seen one Godzilla movie, which was the 2014 one. Actually, I think I saw the 1998 or 9 one.
Logan's relationship with Godzilla is a tumultuous one that many would describe as abusive, and he should seek help in escaping from it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with Godzilla.
My cousin's very into Godzilla, so he's gonna be happy about this news.
I've always admired Godzilla from afar. I like the franchise. I've always wanted to get into the movies, but I can never find a way to watch the original.
Surprised. I feel like it's isn't there like I think doesn't the first one have a Criterion?
It does, but like
Yeah.
I just don't want to, I don't want to buy that like I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I wish there was an easier way. It's never on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon for free. It's unfortunate, but now's not the time to complain about that. So it's basically just saying I'm no expert on Godzilla, but I think this is really cool that we're getting an animated Godzilla movie from this anime luminary, the trilogy, and it's a very different take on the whole Godzilla mythos. I think the story is that humans actually leave Earth because Godzilla effed it up so bad, and then they come back like 1,000 years later. And there's a whole bunch of monsters running around, so it should be very interesting. The trailer looks interesting, but it's only 30 seconds right now. But I thought it was worth mentioning, especially because it's going to be on Netflix, and I think we all have Netflix. And Netflix is always a very interesting space to watch. And we talked a whole bunch about Death Note last week, so yeah, I think that's what I had to say about Godzilla.
All right, so we have next on our list is Fire Emblem Warriors for the Xbox 2000 AD.
Okay, we gotta stop you there.
Yeah,
What's it gonna be called?
Yeah.
Xbox 2000 AD? Is that like a future thing?
Yeah.
Isn't that that was like the magazine that Judge Dredd ran in, wasn't it?
2000 AD, wasn't or something?
Yeah.
I forget.
I don't know. Anyway, William.
Oh, I'm the Fire Emblem guy. Like, why am I just a Nintendo person here?
Well, I mean, yeah,
You're not.
I mean, you have to be the Fire Emblem guy because I don't think any of us, other than you,
Hey,
play.
there's one guy who plays Heroes of Bot Awakening.
I play Heroes. I'm freaking the Fire Emblem King right here.
Yeah, you're Mars.
I played a mobile spin-off.
William is
Whoa,
the Fire
man.
Emblem Emperor.
So how do you
No.
feel about the Fire Emblem series going to the
Why are
Xbox?
you acting like a southern?
And-
What was going on here?
What's the problem with
Well,
the Southern?
actually,
I'm just giving
works.
the
That
news.
works out because guess what? Some Southern folk are in Fire Emblem Warriors.
There you go.
How about that?
Perfectly.
Yeah, we
That's
got,
why. Yeah, there you
We
go.
got characters from Fire Emblem Awakening in the game. We got axe people. We got a little girl using a big old axe who can also heal. We got a horse guy using an axe. He's a
My
butler.
question is why they put Frederick in the game over like literally any other character.
He's the butler. You need a butler.
No, but like
Prom
literally anyone
needs
else.
his butler, man.
Like who cares?
Johnny, if you're a prince, wouldn't you want your butler to help you out?
I would want
Who-
someone who's actually useful.
The butler's useful.
The butler's got an axe.
Listen, here's
Oh,
the
man.
things Frederick does for Crom. He picks up pebbles so that way Crom will never have to step on a rugged trip.
Does he do that?
Frederick once took a picture of Crom half naked and posted it everywhere in the camp so everyone will look at Crom and go, I'm inspired. I'm going to fight for this man. That is how powerful Frederick is. A
Sounds like a
character.
bad thing.
No, he is. He's a very dedicated man. Uses an axe, which means we have sword people, axe people, and we don't have any lance people. But
We have a
I
healer.
didn't talk about how we have Robin. And Johnny, you'll like Robin because he doesn't use one element. He uses multiple elements, and he has a sword.
I mean, I already
Bam.
like Robin. I'm already.
There you
with
go.
Robin.
Now you like Robin more. He has all the elements in a sword.
All I
No,
will
I
say
know
is
we got
that-
Lucina.
sorry.
In Heroes, Robin is good and Frederick is terrible.
Listen, no, Frederick's a dedicated man. He's doing his job.
Can I just say that all I will say is the dialogue in this
Yeah.
trailer sounded just as cheesy as the dialogue from the first trailer. Like I'm not really sure who they have writing this.
I
Or
mean, the trailer is literally just like quote for quote from Awakening. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
but
mean-
the first trailer too was just like, if we work together, we can do it. Like it was crazy. Like I haven't heard dialogue like that since like I watched Zatch Bell.
If we
and,
work
like,
together, we can do it, man.
well, there you go. Logan, you should buy Fire Emblem Warriors because you love Zatch Bell, and Fire Emblem Warriors is like Zatch Bell. Bam, bam, in there.
The South will
Let's
rise
go.
again this season
Right.
in
You
Fire
pretend the
Emblem.
blonde dude
Warriors.
is Zatch Bell. Bam.
All right. Yeah, there is a
There you
bump.
go.
All right. Well, what is happening here?
What's happening here is, people from Fire Emblem Awakening are in this game where you hit buttons and beat people up and take over castles.
Yeah.
So people
Okay.
might be excited. Yeah. We
Alright,
still
I
don't
think-
have any Lance people.
Yeah, it's,
Maybe.
But so going from that,
well, there's more Nintendo news,
Yeah.
right?
we
Oh,
got
no.
Spittoon. You know, the world's famous spitting game made by Nintendo.
Okay, or
Yeah,
you're not
Splatoon.
gonna get to introduce topics anymore. This keeps going.
I'm the leader. I can introduce topics however I
No,
want.
you're fired now. I'm the leader.
But
I burned
Splatoon.
all the scripts for you. I'm now the president of this podcast.
Yeah, but
You're also the only one who watched the Splatoon 2 direct.
so Splatoon.
Well,
2. Splatoon.
so I gotta present this Splatoon thing. I'm
Yeah.
being overworked here. I got 2 things to present. Oh yeah. The point here is Splatoon 2 is a game where you cover stuff with ink because you're a squid or a kid. That old song that pretty much everyone knows because it's very addicting. We got a bit more news about it. There's a few gameplay modes that off the top of my head I sort of forgot about, but I'll try to remember them.
There was the salmon run, which is like I don't really know what you would call it, but it's like a kind of like a raid mode or whatever, or like a
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know, like
an
a
arena
survival
fight.
mode where
You fight against the Octolings, right? And you gotta protect. Oh wait, no. Am I thinking 2 different things? I am thinking of 2 different.
no, yeah, the Octolings are in the story mode. The salmon
Yeah,
run
what
is
you're bringing up is this mode where like there's this little weapon that you need to protect. It's a really strong weapon, but you want to protect it and get it over to your side while the enemy party tries to steal it from you. It's like capture the flag, except you have a cool weapon. That's the flag.
yeah. I mean, I
And
think
there's-
there's a bit like the zombies mode from Call of Duty, where it's like kind of a survival thing, where they send wave after wave of I guess salmon enemies at you. That was what it seemed
Wave
like to
after
me.
wave of strong men will await you. Oh, and there's also a mode where you ride on a platform. You want to get the platform to your side, and people can shoot you off the platform, and it stops the places. So you kind of need to defend that tower, and that seems kind of cool. Oh, and something that John's not here right now, but I'll bring it up now anyway. He might jump in later, but they introduced the fact that since the Switch system, they kind of like broke up at some point where Kelly's, who knows where, Marie's kind of, fight the Octolings out. There's a new band in town called Off the Hook. There's a bratty Hime squid and a Octoling as the group. Yeah.
Are
Wait,
they
there's-
as, are they
there's
as
an
Rule
Octoling in the
30
group?
Are they as Rule 34 appropriate as the Octolings were?
I mean,
Bean?
I mean the other one. The
Which one?
squids.
Oh, wait, I'm not sorry. I'm not hip on the Splatoon stuff.
Yeah, well, the
Okay,
the
there's the Squid
Octolings are like
sisters.
yeah, the Octolings are like the enemies.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sure
Well, I
they're
can
still
answer your
Rule
question.
34 appropriate though. What?
To answer your question, one
What
of
kind
them.
of term is that?
It's the best term. But yeah, what, Johnny?
Point is, the Off the Hook are weird because the Octoling lady, she is extremely popular, while the Hime Squid, she is kind of on the wayside. It's kind of a weird like difference because Cal and Marie, you can kind of see like people liking like both, or like the split isn't that huge. With Off the Hook, with the characters being named Pearl and Marina, like all the people like Marina, we're all like, oh man, Marina, she's like Twin Tail and Urbosa, yeah, she's so great. While Pearl, she kind of has like a fan base. It's kind of small. You
Well, sure,
mostly
she's
hear
got, like,
people
kind of
complain
a-
about her, but, yeah.
Kind of a punky look going on.
She's like Darla from Cats Don't Dance.
I do not remember. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Yeah, the movie's great.
But
Yeah,
Yeah, that's your Splatoon stuff. Oh, they also have new weapons where you could literally be Con Smith from Killer 7. Straight up.
Yeah, I saw that there was an umbrella, which seemed kind of cool. Where you shoot, I guess you shoot it, and then you can open the umbrella so you can
What if
defend.
your shotgun had a shield? Here we
Yeah.
go.
Be
Yeah.
Albert Wesker.
Did he use an umbrella?
Yeah.
well, he was a
Obviously,
part of the
I-
Umbrella Corporation.
Oh,
I think that-
all right, okay.
Yeah, that almost went over Logan's head, but I managed to bring it right down just in
Very
time.
funny.
I mean, I thought it was like fairly straightforward.
And some weapons
I was
got
just
like new
thinking.
things they can do. Like the roller now can, like, slash vertically. I don't know. It's like a thing you can do now. Like, you can do the vertical slash.
But can you get?
I just want to play as Khan. I want to be the Khan. I want to do double gun. I just teleport everywhere.
Do you reload by like just dropping the ammo and then like kicking them up?
Sadly, that doesn't work because you just go in the ink to reload. You can't just like kick around. That's how it works. I mean, I guess you could like kick around the ink into your gun, but you know, I don't think you want to do that. That'd be kind of slow, you know. Then again, Khan has super speed.
Much ado about Con Smith.
I believe that was.
Yeah. That's one of the
But I
topics
believe
on
that's a
here is
good
Con Smith.
representation of Splatoon 2, right? And did an okay job.
Uh,
Yeah, so then we got a new character announced in Overwatch, a game that I think really only I here play. I gave it to Johnny. I don't know how much he actually plays it, but
I played a bit of it, but all I know about this new character is that they're not voiced by Terry Crews.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
What happened there? That was like the one thing they needed to do.
Yeah, no, that was very strange. Well, but what were you saying
I
though
mean-
before, Johnny?
Oh, I mean, I'll play it if you invite me or whatever.
But yeah, no, it was very disappointing that Terry Crews is not. Oh, the character's Doomfist. But
Yeah.
Terry Crews was initially very open about his desire to play the character, and he's not the character. So Blizzard,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think he's like a hard guy to get a hold of. He's in like a million
almost
ads.
certainly not.
Yeah.
David Lynch hired him to literally not speak a single word in one of his movies. So I can't
Yeah.
imagine his asking price is too much.
He's like the Aerosmith of regular actors.
Right. I mean, to be
So,
fair to Aerosmith,
yeah.
I haven't seen them in a while in movies, but yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, just about the voice of Doomfist. I'm imagining that what they wanted to do was give him a more authentically African voice. Because if you listen to his lines, he does have an African accent. And I suppose, I guess maybe they just thought Terry Crews wasn't right for that for whatever
He's
reason.
an actor.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't really get it. I feel like maybe that was the logic. You know, maybe they didn't want to
Also,
you know, maybe
why
they,
does it
they
matter? Like, make him cool. Like, have one
Yeah.
character that's not.
maybe they thought Terry Crews would have been better just kind of doing his normal Terry Crews voice, and they didn't want to make him do a different voice. I don't know, but obviously, like they had the option and they didn't take it. So whatever happened there, I guess some fans are mad. We're mad because you know we just we just like Terry Crews. But the character does seem kind of cool. I'm not really into Overwatch, but I did watch the announcement video, and he seems interesting.
So basically, what he can do, he's kind of interesting because he's gonna be the only. He's only one of two melee-based characters in the game, which will be him and Reinhardt. And he does have a projectile. It's like a little like shotgun kind of thing that he has on his left arm. And then that gets a limited amount of shots before it has to recharge. My understanding is that it works like Tracer's dashes, where you use it and then over time it comes back automatically. You don't have to reload it. And he also will have like dashes. He can knock people into the air with uppercuts, and his ultimate allows him to jump in the air, and then he comes down and he does like a pile drive to the ground to like cause like an area of effect damage. So he seems like
Hulk's like gamma meteor thingy.
yeah, similar to that. He probably is similar to how Hulk would play, I guess, in a first-person shooter. Since his moves list is kind of like simplistic. Well, I guess except Hulk doesn't have a gun, but you know, you just give Hulk a gun. And then the thing that's kind of always been interesting about Overwatch is like while characters, their abilities don't necessarily sound like horrifically interesting, the game allows for a lot of cool situations that make characters fun to play. Like you know, like McCree is a pretty straightforward character. All he has is, you know, a bomb that he throws and it stuns you, and then he can kill you off of that, and he's very accurate. but the way the game kind of works, that becomes a lot more interesting because the situations the game presents you allow you a lot of opportunities, and the tools they do give you tend to be able to be used in more creative ways. So, for example, again, I haven't played Doomfist, so I can't really reference his abilities that much. But to speak to a character that is probably going to be, I guess, the most similar to him will be Reinhardt. Reinhardt, has his dash special where he puts on jets and then he can tackle whoever gets in his way. That move is also useful for covering a large amount of distance really quickly because Reinhardt's usually a very slow character. So they've done a very good job of designing characters that, despite not having that many moves, those moves can be used in a lot of interesting ways. So I'll probably have fun with Doomfist. I definitely am annoyed that it's not Terry Crews though, because that would have been awesome. But yeah, I mean, if they really wanted to go authentic African, I guess that's why that makes sense. But I don't know. I like Terry Crews, so I want to hear Terry Crews.
Yeah. Did you something interesting about the character was that that as long as he's punching someone, he has a health buff.
Yeah, as long as he's doing damage, he creates he gets shields, I believe it was. So basically, he's going to be a character that rewards going in. It'll actually be kind of interesting because he seems like he might be the kind of character that actually rewards what a lot of stupid Overwatch players do, where they just run into the middle of a group and get themselves killed. But I guess with this, that he actually might be able to do that, but we'll see. But yeah, I believe, was that it for this week? I believe it was.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple more kind of a grab bag of topics we could add in if we want. I mean, do we have some more time to talk?
I mean, we have as much time as we need. There was the whole Edgar Wright thing about how he said he refuses to watch Ant-Man.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, we didn't even bring that up when we were preparing for that. That is a very interesting topic. Kind of a sad, sort of a sad thing. But I understand it. If I were him, it would be very hard. I think he said something like, it's like watching your girlfriend have sex or something.
Like your ex-girlfriend have sex with another man, I think it was, or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because, and to be fair to him, anyways, he doesn't seem down on the movie itself. Just personally, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it because of his negative experience, in that he created a draft for the film and was rejected, and they completely kind of tore up his vision for the film. But
yeah, and for us, it's a version of a movie that would have been cool to see. For him, it's years of his life, since before Iron Man even happened. When you think about it that way, it's very understandable. But yeah,
so is he creating, did he make an Ant-Man draft just out of his own volition, or was that something they commissioned him to do?
No, he was working on the movie. They started working on it just before Iron Man happened, and then once Iron Man did happen, they were going to fold it into the Marvel universe, and that didn't end well. That's basically the story. But yeah, he says that he likes Paul Rudd. He liked him in Civil War. He said that he likes the director of the movie. It's just it must be too weird, too awkward to see kind of a script that you wrote, and some aspects of it are in the final movie, and it would be very weird.
It feels weird to announce as a thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, he only said it just now, I guess, now that he's doing promotion. I'm sure someone asked him about it. Yeah, that would have been kind of assholey to go yeah, this movie came out, I'm not gonna watch it. So yeah, he probably didn't want to say something like that.
Just without context.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's not Josh Trank, who literally goes on Twitter, was it the day after the movie's released, to talk about how horrible the movie is. And therefore guaranteeing he won't have work ever again. But yeah.
That Shadow of the Colossus movie he was supposed to do didn't happen, so I don't know.
You talk shit about us, we cost you Shadow of the Colossus movies, which is ultimately a good thing for everyone, probably. But yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. But I think, was there any other topics?
No, I think that was good. That was a nice end cap to this.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you for joining us. Remember, guys, this was the 11th episodes, which means, of course,
Yay.
our 10th
We'll do
episode anniversary was last week. But I didn't mention it, so now it's our 11th episode anniversary.
Hold on. What
Oh,
about
wait,
the
not
episode
anniversary?
What about the episode that didn't get put up?
Oh yeah, that technically was our 10th. But it didn't get put up, so it doesn't count. It didn't exist. Time just ceased.
Okay, so is this the 11th or?
Yeah, this is the 11th.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so thank you guys, and for those who are watching it, thank you for keeping up with us, and we very much so appreciate it. Have a good day, guys.